we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on First Post. Hello and welcome to First Post Africa, where we get you the top stories from the continent and from across the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Hamas says it has approved a list of 34 hostages to be released, while Israel says it is yet to receive this list as the two sides wrangle over details of a potential ceasefire deal. Russia claims to have captured the eastern Ukrainian town of Kharkov, known as an important logistics hub, in what would be a key advance after months of steady gains in the area. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau may resign as soon as Monday, as per Canadian media reports. This comes as he faces mounting dissent within his Liberal Party. The spread of HMVP infection raises global concerns after a surge in China. Cases also reported in India and Malaysia, while Hong Kong and Japan ask residents to remain vigilant. And army airstrikes kill at least 10 civilians and injure 30 others in Sudan's capital of Khartoum, as per the local volunteer rescuers. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from Mozambique, where tensions are ratcheting up further after the southern African country's exiled opposition leader announced his return. Mozambican opposition leader Venancio Mondlane said in a Facebook Live that he would arrive in Maputo on the 9th of January. Mondlane, who left the country after his lawyer was gunned down in October last year, said he would be there in Mozambique ahead of the inauguration of the new president on the 15th of January.
They are killing our brothers. They are destroying our brothers' stores. They are burning gas stations. They are destroying warehouses. They are burning factories. They pretend they are protesters when they are not, to create hatred between brothers. So if it is because of me, if it is because of Venancio, then Venancio will be on Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning at Mavelane International Airport at Maputo Airport. I will be there.
No aeroporto internacional de Mavelane, o aeroporto de Maputo.
50-year-old Mondlane, who has been leading more than 2 months of deadly protests from outside Mozambique, also reportedly shrugged off the criminal and civil charges that authorities have laid against him, including for damages caused during his protests by his supporters. Now, he has reportedly said that the authorities could do whatever they wanted upon his arrival in the capital of Maputo on Thursday. Now, Mondlane has been in exile at an unknown location since October and has repeatedly called for demonstrations against the results of the 9th of October elections. He claims that the elections were rigged in favor of the ruling Frelimo party, which has been in power for nearly 50 years. Mondlane insists that the election was stolen from him and that another count said that he was the true winner of the polls. Now, the final official results of the poll that were validated by Mozambique's top court late in December said that Mondlane took 24% of the vote share, compared to 65% for Frelimo's party candidate Daniel Chapo. 47-year-old Frelimo party candidate Daniel Chapo is due to be sworn in as the president of Mozambique on the 15th of January. But Mondlane has vowed to install himself as the head of state as he continues to maintain his rejection of the results. Mondlane called for fresh protests in December against the court's decision, which he called a fraud. But the protests against the Frelimo party's extended rule in Mozambique have been met with tough police crackdown. The total number of deaths from post-poll violence in Mozambique has reportedly touched nearly 300. With the Decide electoral platform, the prominent Mozambican non-governmental organization claiming that at least 176 people have been shot dead by the police since the 23rd of December. Authorities have also reported looting and vandalism of shops, petrol stations and banks since the protests erupted. Thousands of prisoners have also escaped a high-security prison in Maputo, taking advantage of the unrest. Many Mozambicans are also fleeing to neighboring Malawi and Eswatini to avoid being caught in the mayhem. The unrest in Mozambique has also caused major losses to the southern African country's economy and has also stopped cross-border trade, especially with South Africa. Several shipping, mining and industrial activities have also been affected. Now, the tensions in Mozambique have also caused fears among the regional grouping, the Southern African Development Community, or SADC, which is concerned that the situation might jeopardize the peace and security of the region. And additionally, the United Nations has also called for all sides to defuse tensions immediately. So with the opposition leader, Mondlane, planning to return to the country this week, will the government arrest him and ignite further protests in Mozambique? Or would it invite Mondlane to talk on a peaceful resolution to the dispute? Now, to discuss more on this, we have with us Andre Mulungo, who is a senior political journalist and joining us live from Maputo in Mozambique. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
What does Venancio Mondlane's return from exile signal about the current state of opposition politics in Mozambique? And how might it influence the political landscape moving forward?
Thank you again. We don't have information about the reasons that make Mondlane comes to Mozambique. But we can try to draw two scenarios. And the first one is that Mondlane return must be, as I said, by two perspectives. The first perspective is that Venancio Mondlane lost his fear and decided to challenge the regime, particularly in relation to the legal process against him and the trust that the threats of death that made him leave Mozambique. As you know, Mondlane is in exile after the death of his juridic advisor called Elvin Dias, and he said that he was facing threats. But Mondlane also is facing a judicial process moved against him by the Mozambican authorities. So if he decides to come to Mozambique, and as he said that he will be in Mozambique in 9th January, it means that he lost a fee. This is one perspective. The other perspective, or the second one, is that maybe there is a principle of agreement between him and the regime. If we consider the first scenario or the first hypothesis, it means that the tension will continue in Mozambique. With Venancio Mondlane, he person to face the regime, it means the tension will continue. But if we consider the second scenario, depending on what the nature of the agreement that he can have with the regime, we will have two groups of Venancio Mondlane supporters. One will feel betrayed by Venancio Mondlane, and the other will continue supporting Venancio Mondlane. But it will be important the nature of the agreement that he will present to his supporters. So we can have those two scenarios. The one is that Venancio Mondlane lost fear and he decided by himself to face the regime, and the other is to have a principle of agreement with the Mozambican authorities.
Yes. Right, and Andre, given the political tensions and the recent electoral disputes, how is the public likely to react to both Mondlane's return and to Chapo's swearing in? And what implications could this have for Mozambique's political stability and also for international relations?
Let me explain that the Chapo's inauguration, called to 15th January, will be the materialization of Frelimo ruling party's plan. In which consists this plan? This plan was to take time until the Constitutional Council proclaimed the result, announced and announced the inauguration. Why? Because, as you know, with Chapo in power, Frelimo will call the opposition to negotiate with Chapo. Frelimo never wanted dialogue before results were announced. So Frelimo took time until the day the board that managed the election announced that Frelimo and Chapo are the winner of the election. They took time until the Constitutional Council validated the result. So this plan consists in taking Chapo and Frelimo to the power, and after that, Frelimo will call for a dialogue with the opposition, including Venancio Mondlane is the head of the protest. Any inauguration without agreement, this is the effects of the inauguration without agreements. Is the opposition could lead the reception of the protest and violence. Violence must be replicated to a greater or less extent. In the current crisis, if the current crisis does not have the outcome that satisfy the people. What I'm saying now is that the inauguration that are called for
Andre.
January, it's part of the plan of Frelimo part. But the risk to have this inauguration without any agreement with the opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, is that we are going to have the replication of the violence along the time if the agreement, if the possible agreement doesn't satisfy the people's will.
Right, Andre, thank you very much for your analysis there and for being with us on First Post Africa. While Mozambique is bracing for the new president's inauguration ceremony, the U.S. is also set to inaugurate Donald Trump as the new president on the 20th of January. Now, Trump's re-election has left the world in a guessing game mode. There is a lot of speculation and anticipation regarding how the U.S. policies under him would take shape and impact the world. Now, the deepfake market has taken note of it. Ahead of his re-election, Trump topped the list of people with most deepfake videos, and the trend continues after the re-election as well. Trump deepfakes are flooding the internet, and their latest targets are Kenyans and Nigerians. Dozens of AI-generated videos of Trump have been doing the rounds in Kenya and Nigeria. These fake videos of Trump show him issuing threats and directives to these African nations. Now in Kenya, Trump deepfakes are also targeting President William Ruto. Kenya is witnessing renewed protests over recent abductions of several government critics. Ruto has denied any government role and says that he is working to end the unexplained abductions. But now the fake videos of Trump are fueling public anger. In one such video that has gone viral, Trump is saying that if the Kenyan government will not stop the abductions, the US government will stop funding Kenya and issuing loans. In a deepfake video, Trump is also heard saying that the International Monetary Fund will also stop issuing loans to Kenya.
Kenyan government will not stop the abductions. I want to promise you that the U.S. government will stop funding Kenya and issuing loans. The International Monetary Fund will also stop issuing loans to Kenya.
The clip uses the logo of the White House to make it look authentic, and many people have actually fallen for it. Many social media users expressed satisfaction about Trump's apparent show of support for the missing people. The video originated on the platform TikTok and has now spread to other social media platforms as well. On X, it has attracted close to 200,000 views. Donald Trump has never publicly commented on the abductions in Kenya. The current President Joe Biden and his administration, which has designated Kenya as a major non-NATO ally, did issue a statement. It said that the US government has conveyed to Kenyan President Ruto the importance of full accountability on security forces reportedly involved in protest violence and ongoing abduction. Now that's the latest reaction from the US on Kenya. But Trump's deepfakes are targeting Africans from the east to the west. In Nigeria as well, dozens of similar AI-generated videos have flooded social media since Trump's re-election. One of the videos shows Trump allegedly announcing changes to US-Nigeria immigration policy. Now, Trump, in a fake video, says the US will limit certain visa approvals for Nigerians and that this temporary measure aims to encourage Nigerians, especially those in critical professions, to stay and invest in their homeland. Again, the video emerged on the Chinese social media platform TikTok and then went viral on X with some 871,000 views. Some users seem to be convinced by Trump's generosity, that he is not sugarcoating and is straight to the point, and that he wants Nigerians to give back their skills to their country, not to the US. During Trump's first presidency, Nigeria was among 6 countries from which his administration restricted migration. Another of Trump's deepfakes has also gone viral in Nigeria, where he is calling for the release of the Nigerian separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu, who is facing terrorism charges. While they might seem convincing, Trump has not publicly spoken about the internal matters of Kenya or Nigeria. So if you come across such videos, it's best not to press the forward button. And moving on to some more TikTok troubles, France has arrested 3 Algerian TikTokers. 2 of them face terrorism-related charges. They are accused of publishing posts inciting violence on the social media platform. One of the arrested individuals is a 31-year-old blogger known as Imad Tintin. Now, he was arrested after publishing a video urging followers to allegedly burn alive, kill, and rape on French territory. The post received some 800,000 views before it was taken down. France's Interior Minister also reacted to the video and called it vile. TikToker Imad Tintin has been placed under judicial supervision and is due to appear in the fast-track trial on charges of direct incitement of an act of terrorism. He is also subject to an expulsion order. Then the second Algerian TikToker who has been arrested by French authorities is a 25-year-old Algerian identified as Youssef A. On TikTok, he is known as Zazu Youssef. He has been taken into custody for calling attacks in France and violence in Algeria. Now, he will stand trial on the 24th of February on a charge of publicly advocating an act of terrorism in posts to his hundreds of thousands of TikTok followers. He was living in France on a temporary residency permit. Another Algerian TikToker has been arrested in France for violent comments targeting an Algerian activist who opposes the North African country's government. Now, these arrests come amid a backdrop of increasing tensions between France and its former colony, Algeria. The source of this contention is the dispute over Western Sahara. Western Sahara is a former Spanish colony, but now it is mostly under the de facto control of Morocco. However, the territory is claimed by the Sahrawi separatists of the Polisario Front, who are demanding a self-determination referendum. These separatists are supported by Algeria. Last year, in a landmark shift, French President Emmanuel Macron renewed support for Moroccan sovereignty over the territory. This triggered diplomatic tensions between Algiers and Paris. In the latest, Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune has launched a strong critique against France over the lingering effects of its colonial rule on his country. He said that Algeria demands France's acknowledgement of its crimes during the brutal colonization. Then, earlier, Algeria also summoned France's ambassador to address accusations of French intelligence involvement in destabilizing campaigns in the country. In November last year, a well-known French-Algerian novelist, Boualem Sansal, was also imprisoned by the Algerian authorities on national security charges. The arrest of 3 Algerian TikTokers only adds to the ongoing rift. How will Algeria react, and will it further deteriorate ties between the two nations? We will keep you posted. Our last story for today is from Central Africa, where the Democratic Republic of Congo has arrested Chinese nationals for gold smuggling. 3 Chinese nationals have reportedly been arrested with 12 gold bars and $800,000 in cash in the eastern region of the DRC. Authorities in the South Kivu province said that the gold and money were hidden under the seats of the vehicle that the suspects were traveling in. Authorities further said that they were acting on a tip-off and that the gold, as well as the money, was only found after a meticulous search of the vehicle. But they said that the operation to arrest the Chinese nationals had been kept a secret, as some of the dealers in precious metals enjoyed good relations with influential people in the capital, Kinshasa. Now, the eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo has abundant reserves of gold, diamonds, cobalt, and minerals used to make batteries for mobile phones and electric vehicles. This mineral wealth has been plundered by foreign groups since the colonial era and is one of the main reasons why the region has been plagued by instability for the last 30 years. Militia groups have controlled many of the mines in eastern DRC, and their leaders have become wealthy by selling them to third parties. Competition over mining operations has also fueled fighting in the region that borders with Rwanda, and the Central African country has struggled to stop unlicensed companies and armed groups from exploiting its rich reserves. Now, the arrest of the foreign nationals comes weeks after 17 Chinese men had been arrested on suspicion of running an illegal gold mine in the strife-torn South Kivu province in December. The men were arrested after a government delegation made an unannounced visit to the mine site. But days later, DRC freed 14 of the 17 Chinese men who were detained along with others from Congo and neighboring Burundi. Now, this prompted the governor of South Kivu province to say that freeing the nationals was undermining the efforts to clean up the DRC's notoriously murky mineral sector. The governor also reportedly said the nationals owed $10 million in taxes and fines to the government. Moreover, the recent arrest is also coming at a time when China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi is visiting Africa to advance Beijing's sizable influence across the resource-rich continent. Wang Yi is expected to visit Namibia, the Republic of Congo, Chad, and Nigeria this week. But the Chinese officials have yet to comment on the arrest or the allegations made by the DRC authorities. The detention has also occurred when tensions are flaring up in eastern DRC, where Rwanda-backed M23 rebel groups have captured large parts of the territory. In the latest, rebels have captured the strategic town of Masisi in North Kivu province. that it's known for its mineral and agricultural wealth. Authorities have accused Rwanda of using M23 to loot eastern DRC's minerals. Rwanda, on the other hand, has denied these claims. Last month, the DRC also sued tech giant Apple over the use of blood minerals, prompting the company to say it had stopped getting supplies from both the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. But with illegal mineral trade and smuggling increasing in the DRC, all eyes are on the efforts that the government will undertake to crack down on these activities. Eyes will also be on whether the government releases the Chinese nationals this time or negotiates with China over compensation. And that's it on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 50 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. Today, we begin in South Asia. India has detected 2 cases of the human metapneumovirus. They were detected earlier today in Karnataka state's Bangalore city. The 2 individuals include an 8-month-old and a 3-month-old child. The infected individuals did not have any history of international travel. These HMPV cases in India come amid an outbreak of the virus in China. There has been a significant rise in the HMPV cases in Malaysia as well. The country reported 327 cases in 2024. Now, with a surge in recent days, the Malaysian Health Ministry has urged the public to remain vigilant and practice preventive measures, including wearing face masks. Hong Kong and Japan too are closely monitoring the HMPV outbreak in China. They have ramped up surveillance efforts to prevent a spread of the virus. While Japan hasn't reported any HMPV infection, it is experiencing an influenza outbreak, which has symptoms similar to the HMPV. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, cases are limited and health authorities have assured people of strict surveillance measures. Cases in these countries surge as China continues to witness an uptick in respiratory infection cases, including those of HMPV. State media reported that China has launched a pilot program to track pneumonia of unknown origin. Meanwhile, Chinese Foreign Ministry continues to downplay the reports of HMPV cases. It said the respiratory infections tend to peak during the winter season.